Hello again, and welcome to day number 102, 102. My name is Mary, and today's story is David is chosen. David is chosen. When Samuel told Saul the Lord would take away his kingdom, he did not mean Saul would lose the kingdom at once. He was no longer God's king, and as soon as the right man was found and trained, then God would take away Saul's power and give it to the man he had chosen. But it was many years before all this happened. Samuel, who had helped in choosing Saul, mourned for him. But the Lord said to Samuel, "Do not weep and mourn any longer over Saul. I have refused him as king. Fill the horn with oil and go to Bethlehem. In Judah, find a man there named Jesse, for I have chosen a king from among his sons." Samuel said to the Lord, "How can I go? If Saul hears of it, he will kill me." Then the Lord said to Samuel, "Take a young cow with you and tell the people you have come to make an offering to the Lord. Call Jesse and his sons to the sacrifice. I will tell you what to do, and you will anoint the one I point out to you." At the sacrifice, 7 of Jesse's sons passed before Samuel, but God didn't choose any of them. Finally, Samuel said to Jesse, "None of these is the man God has chosen. Are these all your children?" "There is one more," said Jesse, "the youngest of all. He is a boy in the field, caring for the sheep. Send for him." After a time, the youngest son was brought in. His name was David, a word that means darling. And he was a beautiful boy, perhaps 15 years old, with fresh cheeks and bright eyes. As soon as David came, the Lord said to Samuel, "Arise, anoint him, for this is the one I have chosen." I will show you the picture of young David as a shepherd in the field. Then Samuel poured oil on David's head in the presence of all his brothers. But no one realized that the anointing meant David was to be the king. Perhaps they thought David was chosen to be a prophet, like Samuel. From that day, the Spirit of the Lord was with David, and he began to show signs of coming greatness. He went back to his sheep on the hillsides around Bethlehem, but God was with him. David grew up strong and brave, not afraid of the wild beasts that prowled around and tried to carry away his sheep. More than once, he fought with lions and bears and killed them. And young as he was, David thought of God and prayed to God, and God talked with David and showed to him his will. But while the Spirit of God came to David, it left King Saul because he no longer obeyed God's words. Then Saul became very unhappy and gloomy, even seeming to lose his mind at times because he was no longer at peace with God. The servants around Saul noticed that when someone played the harp and sang, Saul's gloominess passed away, and he became cheerful. One time, Saul said, "Find someone who can play well and bring him to me. Let me listen to music, for it drives away my sadness." One of the young men said, "I have seen a young man, a son of Jesse, in Bethlehem, who can play well. He is handsome and pleasant, and the Lord is with him." So Saul sent a message to Jesse, David's father. He said, "Send me your son David, who is with the sheep. Let him come and play before me." And I will show you a picture of David would play the harp for Saul. And here is the picture. There is the king, Saul, sitting on the chair, and David, young David, playing the harp. When Saul saw David, he loved him, just as everyone else did. David played on the harp and sang for Saul, driving away the king's sadness. Saul liked David so well he made him his armor bearer. And David carried his shield, spear, and sword when the king was with his army. But Saul did not know that David had been anointed by Samuel. If he had, he would have been jealous of David. After a time, Saul seemed well, and David left him and went back to being a shepherd. And that was the word of the Lord. Now, I'll read to you the discussion questions. Number 1. Did God take away Saul's kingdom quickly? Did God take away Saul's kingdom quickly? Number 2. Where did God send Samuel to find a new king? Where did God send Samuel to find a new king? Number 3. What happened to Saul? What happened to Saul? Number 4. How did David come to Saul's court? Did Saul like him? Number 4, once again, it's made of 2 parts. The first part, how did David come to Saul's court? The second part, did Saul like him? And that was the end of our questions today. It's been nice and pleasant to be together in a story of the Bibles. So thank you for being there. May God bless us all until we meet again. Bye for now. Take care.